Okay, so like I was saying, if you have any married couple around you, please invite them. Let's teach them what to do to end their emotional trauma. A lot of people are passing through this emotional trauma in the hands of their spouses, whether you're a man or a woman. It has got to stop. There's a very simple way to end that emotional trauma. It's not all about using diabolical powers. Using diabolical powers is never an option, and it's not good because you will end up making that your spouse a zombie, a living zombie. That is what you will do, and you will not like it. You will regret it. They always regret it, but they won't come out openly to tell you. So it's better to allow your spouse be the person that he or she is, the way God has created him or her, but then you use nature to solve the problem. So if you're a man or a woman, a married man or a married woman, because this teaching is mainly for the married couples who are passing through emotional trauma, that has nothing to do with fighting, because fighting is a physical violence. I'm not talking about that one, please. If you are fighting with your spouse, you need a drastic measure to solve that problem. Both of you need serious counseling. And that is not what I'm talking of. And if you check and it looks as if that your life is in danger in that home, please take a walk, shift until you discover how to solve the problem. You are not created to die just like that. You are not created to be used as a punching bag or to be used as a size tool or to be used as a maid or to be used as a houseboy. Both of you are supposed to love each other. Both of you are supposed to attract each other. Both of you are supposed to care for each other. What I'm talking about is when you don't get all these things from your spouse because of somebody else, whether the person is a man or a woman, but someone has taken your position in the life of your spouse, please draw closer. Let me teach you what to do. But like I said earlier, when you are performing spiritual exercises using nature, don't expect that spiritual exercise to start working immediately after that prayer. A lot of people believe that the moment you practice this, you expect the answer by tomorrow. That is not how nature works. Nature works with time and season. And it's better to allow nature to work. When it starts working, nothing can stop it. But when you use diabolical powers to work, it can be stopped with the power of God. But nature comes from God. It is God that made nature. So it is better to allow nature to work. And that is why I want you to get this bitter cola. Please, I know that majority will ask me what is bitter cola. Take a look at it very well, please. Take a look at it. When you go to the market, for those of you who stay outside the country, when you go to African markets, ask of this, bitter cola. Bitter cola. Ask of this, you will find it there. Those of us in Nigeria, of course, we all know what it is. Please, you have to get this, and you will get 4 of it. You'll be needing 4 of this bitter cola. Whether you are a man or a woman who is passing through this, the emotional trauma, try and get this bitter cola, 4 of it. Now, before you start whatever you are doing, make sure you are not the guilty one. Make sure you are not the guilty one. Please. If you know that you are innocent, but it's just that your spouse has chosen to look away from you, has chosen to pick interest in somebody else. Maybe as a woman, because you have given birth to children, your body is no longer beautiful. Your boobs have sagged. Your stomach has, is now so big. You have gone out of shape and he doesn't have interest in you anymore. Or because you are a man, the pressure of taking care of a home has taken its toll on you. You are now looking saggy. You are now looking worn out. Some of them, they even look thin. Your clothes no longer fit you. And then your woman doesn't have interest in you any longer because you are looking this way. She now prefers younger guys who don't have any responsibility. she wants them to take care of her. If you are passing through this, please try and get this, 4 of it. Get 4 of this bitter kola. When you get the 4, please present it to God in prayer. Tell God everything about your home. Because God knows the person who is guilty and the person who is not guilty. And make sure, let it not be that you are just suspecting an innocent spouse. Maybe you are suspecting him that he has a woman outside, meanwhile he doesn't have any woman outside. But if you are very sure that he has a woman outside, and if it's possible for you to get the name of the person, or if you are sure that she has another man outside, and if it's possible for you to get the name of the man, that would be the best. Try and get the name. But whereby you can't get the name, but you are 100% sure that he or she is cheating on you with another person. If you are 100% sure, get this, 4. Then after prayer, after presenting it to God, after telling God what you are passing through in the hands of your spouse, this is what you are supposed to do. You will have to place this bitter kola in your bedroom. I know a lot of couples don't sleep together. It's not something new, especially in Nigeria these days. When someone gets married, they don't share the same bedroom anymore with their spouse. The woman will have her own room, the man will have his own room, except when they want to meet and have intercourse. They can now sleep either in the woman's room or in the man's room. It's not new. This is how majority now live these days. But there are couples who still sleep together in the same bedroom, still share the same bed. So whether you are still sharing the same room with your spouse or you are sleeping separately, it doesn't matter. All you have to do is you get this. If you are sharing the same bedroom with your spouse, after your prayers, what you are going to do is you drop the 4 bitter kolas at the edges of your bedroom. At the 4 edges of your bedroom, that is where you will drop these bitter kolas. Now, when you drop it at the first edge, you have to pray and make a declaration of what you want. If you happen to know the name of that person whom your spouse is cheating on you with, you mention the name of the person and command the bitter kola. Tell the bitter kola what you want it to do for you concerning the person and your spouse. You are going to do this on each of those bitter kolas as you are dropping them at the 4 edges of your bedroom. Now, if you are the type who sleeps separately while your spouse sleeps separately, you are going to do this in that bedroom where you sleep, not the bedroom where your spouse sleeps. You are going to drop the 4 bitter kolas inside that bedroom, at the 4 edges of that bedroom where you yourself sleeps, not where your spouse sleeps. Now, this is another thing that you have to do. When you drop this bitter kola, make sure that your spouse doesn't have access to that bitter kola. Make sure that your spouse doesn't have access to it, that your spouse cannot touch it, because the moment your spouse touches the bitter kola or picks it up, it will no longer work. That means you will have to throw away that bitter kola and get another one. Make sure that he or she doesn't have access to that bitter kola. Okay? So when you drop the bitter kolas, assuming by the following day you want to sweep your room, or you have someone who will sweep that room for you, pick up that bitter kola by yourself. Allow the person to sweep the room. And after sweeping that room, connection. But let me go ahead. The network is so bad, but I will have to continue. I have to be brief. So you are going to drop it at that bedroom, and you are going to do this for 7 days. Every morning, you have to pick it up. If you are the type that sweeps your bedroom every morning, you are going to pick it up and make sure you sweep that room, or someone else sweeps the room for you. After sweeping the room, you drop the bitter kola back to where you kept them before. You are going to do this for 7 days. On the 7th day, you pick up that bitter kola. Make the final declaration of what you want, how you want your marriage to be, or what you want the bitter kola to do for you. And then you throw the bitter kola away, but you are not going to throw it inside your dustbin. You are going to go out with that bitter kola. Throw the bitter kola away on the road. But before you throw it on the road, you have to decree for the final time what you want it to do for you. You have to say it with your mouth, and then you throw it away. This is all you need to do. that bitter cola is not actually for you. I know that the bitter cola will have to stay where you are sleeping, but it's not actually for you. Assuming your spouse is sleeping in another bedroom and you are sleeping in another bedroom, that bitter cola will have to be in that bedroom where you sleep, but it's not for you. The bitter cola is there. It is kind of to monitor your spouse and to absorb the negative energy in your spouse, and equally to remove whatever it is, assuming that your spouse is under a spell by that person whom he or she is cheating on you with. Assuming that your spouse is under a spell, the bitter cola is there to remove that spell. That is the work of that bitter cola. But this is not what you are supposed, this is not what you have to do after 7 days. You start expecting miracle immediately. Everything that God has created has its own time and season. Nature works with time and season. So this is something you will have to do, and you relax. When I gave this teaching to somebody, after the teaching, she called me a week after and told me that she didn't see anything, that the spouse is still misbehaving, still rolling with the lady, still, buying things for her. They are still going out together. They are still doing this. They are still doing that. I told her to relax. Relax. I didn't formulate the teaching. I didn't just make it up. Let it be that, let there be something I want to teach people. No. It is a teaching given to me by my guardian angel for people who are passing through this, because God knows that so many couples are passing through emotional trauma, which has led to mental cases on majority of them and even led to their demise. And so this is a natural way to stop that. A very natural way to bring love and unity between the two couples. It is always better to allow nature to solve all these kind of problems for you than trying to use diabolical powers to solve them. Using diabolical powers means that if you get another higher power, higher than that diabolical power, it will counter that one, and then you will be in trouble. But when you involve the power of God using nature, when nature works, nobody can stop nature. Nobody can stop nature. At all. Nobody can stop nature from, you cannot stop the sun from shining. You can't stop the moon from shining at night. These are nature. You can't stop the wind from blowing. So it is better to allow nature to work. Okay? Now, the lady that was complaining later called again to tell me that it's like fire is now burning between the two people. The fire has started burning. Both of them has gone their separate ways, not just going their separate ways, but they clashed, they separated. The lady moved out, relocated. She started the spouse called her to apologize, to tell her his escapades with the lady and that he's no longer interested in her, this, that. Nature is not magic. I don't know anything about magic. I don't perform magic. I always wait. It is better for me to wait and get that teaching from the Holy Spirit. And then it's either I practice it if I am passing through that, or I give the teaching to somebody who is passing through that thing. Let the person practice it and give me the result. And that is why I am here, to teach you. This is what so many couples are passing through, but majority of us, to avoid what the society will say, we tend to bottle everything up. We endure. And in the process of enduring, we are dying in silence. We are dying in silence. See, you are not created to die for anybody. Christ died for all of us, and you are not supposed to die for anybody. There are so many ways to solve problems, but I always prefer that way that God has mapped out. That is always the best. When you go through that way, you won't have any regrets. But when you go through the other way works faster. It works faster. It will give you that peace and joy that you want immediately. But before you know it, you regret ever choosing that way. Using diabolical powers to solve your marital issues is never an option, because you will end up making your spouse a living zombie. And then you will regret it. And how do you reverse it? Most of the times you can no longer reverse it. You will have to live like that without spouse. And instead of giving you a bad name, please allow nature to do that work for you. Bitter kola is all you need. Bitter kola is all you need. And remember, like someone once asked me that she doesn't want to pray, but she wants to perform a spiritual exercise and it will work for her. It doesn't work that way. You have to be prayerful. You have to be prayerful. Unless you know that you no longer want that marriage and that you can't enjoy anymore, you want to back out. You can back out. But if you know that you still want your spouse, you still love your spouse, you still want the marriage, you go ahead and practice this. As long as, and I repeat, as long as the emotional trauma you are passing through has nothing to do with physical violence, because I don't tolerate physical violence. Please, when it comes to that, instead of you soiling your hands in performing one thing that will delete your spouse, I will advise you to walk out. Walk out of that marriage. Walk out with your life. If God has destined that both of you must surely live together, one day, God will know how to bring both of you together. One day, He will reunite both of you. But trying to use the other means to solve it, you will enjoy it because it works like wildfire. You will see the result immediately. You will enjoy it, but then that enjoyment will not last because that enjoyment must surely come with a repercussion which you cannot run away from. So married couples who are passing through emotional trauma in the hands of your spouse as a result of your spouse cheating on you with another person, the bitter kola is there to do that work for you. Is there to do the work for you perfectly well, and you will have no regrets. So I'm done with the teaching, but if you have any question to ask, please you go ahead and ask me. A lot of people are asking to join me live. I don't really like people joining me live because whenever they join me live, like I said before, they don't ask questions. You'll be asking somebody question. The person will just keep quiet, keep mute, looking at you, will not answer, or the noise at the background will be so much. Some will be laughing, some will be dancing. Okay? So please share this. Please double tap and share this. Like it, okay? If you have people who are passing through this, share it and ask them to join. Let them join. Let them join and receive a solution to their problem. There is no problem that is too difficult for God to handle, except the one that maybe you are praying for God to make your spouse to come down, to love you, to do this, to do that. And God has already seen that you have a short life to live with that spouse. He has already seen that that spouse might be your end so untimely. God will now allow both of you to go your separate ways, and you think that God has killed you. No, He hasn't killed you. Whatever that happens in our lives, as long as you know that you are praying, that you are prayerful, that you always hand everything over to God, and yet that thing still happens, God is aware. He is aware of it. So if you have any question, please ask me, because I'm not going to waste too much time today at all. It's not a matter of wasting any time. The teaching is just as simple as that. Well understood. Bitter kola, this is bitter kola. Someone asked me already, what is bitter kola? Please look at bitter kola, please, because I know you can see it very well. This is bitter kola. If you're staying outside the country, please visit any African market and ask them of this. I'm sure they will have it. If you're staying in Nigeria, you already know what this is. This is what will solve your problem for you. That emotional trauma you are passing through in the hands of your spouse. So if you have any question, please go ahead and ask me. The network is so poor. It's very poor. So I don't want to waste time. Okay? I don't want to waste time today. If you have any question, you ask me. I'm going to stop by 10 minutes past 11. And this is already 4 minutes past 11. Ask me any question based on this teaching that I've given us, or if there is any other thing that you want to ask me that is related to spiritual issues, you go ahead and ask me. Once it's 10 minutes past 11, I am going to stop. And this bitter kola is not expensive. If you're in Nigeria, you will know. It's very cheap. You can get it at 50 naira. You can get it at 100 naira. You can get it at 200 naira. It is so cheap. And this is not the only thing that bitter kola does for us. You know, this is equally an anti-poison. It's equally an anti-poison. Anyway, that is a teaching for another day. But if you have any question based on what I've taught us so far, or any question that has to do with spiritual issues, please, you go ahead and ask. My time is ticking. You go ahead and ask. For those who are joining us now, please, you are welcome. Love it. Meg, you are welcome. Obianu Onyinyechi, you are welcome. Esther Ufort. Okay, Esther, I just thought on how you can use the bitter kola if you are married and you are facing emotional trauma in the hands of your spouse. That is the teaching I just gave on how you use the bitter kola to solve the problem. By getting 4 of this bitter kola, you get it 4, you pray with it, you drop it at the edges of your bedroom. Whether you are sleeping with your spouse or not, you just drop it at the edges of your bedroom and make a declaration on what you want the bitter kola to do for you. You'll be doing this every day for 7 days. And for each time you drop it, don't allow your spouse to touch that bitter kola. The moment your spouse touches it or picks it up, that bitter kola will no longer do the job for you because the energy has changed. The bitter kola is actually working with your energy. So you are the only one that has the right to touch it, to pick it up, to drop it. Let your spouse not touch it. And you are going to do this for 7 days. For each time you want to sweep your bedroom, pick it up, sweep your bedroom, drop them at the exact places where you kept them before. And on the 7th day, you are going to throw it out on the main road, not in your dustbin, on the main road. Throw it out and make the final declaration. You are going to see that miracle. You are going to see how your family, how your love life with your spouse will be transformed. Okay? So if any other person has any other question, go ahead and ask. My time is ticking. Once it's 10 minutes past 11, I am going to stop. If you have any other question or still a question based on what I have taught us so far, thank you, Esther. You are welcome. If any other person has any question, please ask. Hello, somebody say hi. Hi, how are you? Thank you for joining me. Okay, Mimi, you say where you can get the bitter kola. You can get it in the market. I don't know your location, but if you're in Nigeria, you can find it anywhere. If you are outside the country, then it's better for you to visit markets and ask of African markets, maybe where they're selling African items, and then you request for it there. That is what you need. Okay? Any other question from anybody, any other person, based on this teaching or any other question that has to do with spiritual issues? Ask the question. My time is ticking. I have 2 minutes left. Once it's 11:10, I am going to stop. Thank you for those who are joining us now. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. You are all welcome. My teaching for today is mainly for married couples. For married couples. Good morning. Good morning, Ma. Thank you. You're welcome. I tell you, Uche Stella, you are welcome. My time is ticking. I just gave a teaching on bitter kola, using it to solve issues between spouses who are passing through emotional trauma in the hands of their spouse as a result of your spouse cheating on you with another person. Because whenever your spouse is cheating on you with another person, if you like, dress sexy. If you like, put on makeup from morning till night. If you like, put on your clothes without pant and bra. If you like, put on wear the best cologne, the best perfume. Dress wonderful. That your spouse doesn't notice you. He or she will never notice you because the mind has already been captured by someone else. And most of the times, all these things are done diabolically. They will remove the face of your spouse from you. Best Ocean, thank you. Happy new month. I wish you the best this month. So it's not all about killing yourself on how to. A lot of people will tell you, do you cook food for him or her? Do you dress well? Do you look sexy? Try and look sexy. Try and do this. It's not about trying and doing this and doing that. It's not all about that. As long as the mind has been captured by another person, there is nothing you would do to bring that mind back except through prayers. Except through prayers. Sometimes their minds can be brought back only when nemesis has struck them. That is when their minds will not come back to you, because that person that cheating on you will not want to bear the burden. They will now turn to you, the spouse that is known by everybody, that spouse that the whole world knows. That is when they will turn to you for you to have mercy upon them. So killing yourself by going to the market to buy new things to wear to see if you can charm him or her, as long as there is a diabolical power involved, you cannot charm that your spouse back again, except you know what to do. Except you know what to do. So trying to give all this advice about maybe I've seen a lot of people advise women, Madam, I always see you are putting on a gown. Maybe the husband doesn't like gown. Maybe he wants bomb shot. Go to the market and buy the bomb shot. The man will only look at you and put away his face, because his mind is somewhere else. And maybe you are a man who is passing through that emotional trauma in the hands of your spouse. Or guy, if you like, go to the market and buy her the most expensive perfume. She will only say thank you, collect the perfume from you, but she will not use it. She will keep it, and she'll be collecting that cheap perfume that the other person is giving to her. She will only be using that one. And when you dress up, the only thing she will say is, there are some men, her utterances will now be, there are some men who would have done it this way. There are some men who would have done it this way. There is nothing you will do that will interest her anymore, because her mind has already been captured. Has already been captured. Most of the times when it's a man that is passing through this emotional trauma, it doesn't mean that that woman has been captured through diabolical powers by another man, because men ordinarily do not have that kind of things in their mind, using diabolical powers to capture a woman, more especially a married woman. But most times, there are things that women do want, which their spouses do not possess. But instead of telling their spouse, I want you to dress this way, I want you to look this way, I want you to behave this way, no, they will not say it. They will start fantasizing with another man outside, and before you know it, their mind has already gone to that man. In the cases of women, it is always has to do with, majority of the times, diabolical powers, because I'm so sorry to say this, I know I'm a woman, but I know that we women, that is what we normally do. We have it grade 1, using diabolical powers to charm a married man to marry you. Of all the young men that you are seeing, of all the young guys, you don't see them. It is that man who is married with a family. That is the man you are interested in. That is the man you want to marry. And majority of them will go and use diabolical powers. See, let me advise you, those who are passing through this, when they use that diabolical powers, please involve God. Don't try to use diabolical powers also. Diabolical powers have levels. If you don't know, I want you to know it now. They have levels. Maybe this lady has gone to outside the country to get her diabolical powers, and you are getting from the local. How do you think it will work for you? Or maybe you pay the native doctor 50,000 naira to perform that thing for you. Meanwhile, the lady paid 500,000 naira for her own. How do you think your own will conquer her own? That is why I prefer using the highest power. You involve God. It will only take time. All you need is patience, perseverance, and prayer. And when you will conquer, the world will hear the story. Everybody will hear it. Okay? So please, my time is already gone. I will want to stop, but I'll just give us just a minute. If you have any question, just ask me. If you don't have, let me close for the day. But instead of dying in silence, because you don't know what to do, you don't know where to go to, you don't know who to turn to, please All these things created by God perform wonders for us. I will advise you, if whenever you have chance, make inquiries about all these things. Please make inquiries about all these things and how they work. Okay? So that you don't live in the dark. Bitter cola will help you solve that problem. So I'm going to stop here. I really don't know when next I will come up live. I really don't know, but I believe whenever I will come up live, I will get for us another teaching in solving our problems spiritually. The spiritual controls the physical. So it's better to solve a problem from the root, solve it from the root spiritually, and then it will manifest physically. So I want to thank you all, everyone that has joined us so far. Thank you for joining us. For those who asked questions, for those who liked, for those who shared, thank you so much. And I pray that God Almighty will bless you, bless your homes, bless your endeavors. As we are in a new month right now, I pray that this new month will be the starting point of everything good in your life. May the God Almighty, who is always there for his people, in every condition that we find ourselves, may he visit each and every one of you in your different homes and meet you all at your point of needs. And may your prayers be granted. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Thank you all. God bless you.